Welcome to Shape Arkansas's Teacher of the Year Video Minute, powered by Ross Athletic Supply. Ross is the leading supplier of tumbling and gymnastics equipment in the country, and they're located right here in Arkansas. Visit rossathletic.com for more information. I'm your host and Shape Arkansas President, Dexter Pendergraft, and this is the Toy Video Minute. We're going to dive into the mind of the state's best teachers, and our theme this year is Top Tips. This year, we're going to be joined by our awesome elementary and middle school teachers, Jamie Oetker and Katie Cooper. Jamie is the elementary PE teacher at Cabot in that Cabot School District, and Katie teaches middle school and coaches basketball and track at Searcy Public Schools. Welcome, ladies, and we're excited to learn more about your classroom. All right, so today we're going to be talking about classroom structures and how you organize your lessons. I'm sure that you have some kind of template for your lesson planning. So in your lesson planning and kind of what are those headings that you use when you go in and lesson plan?
To
like
start off,
warm up, instant activity,
right,
skill development, those kind of things.
So I always start off, I have an entry activity for all my students to do, and it varies on the level. I have a fitness model, something for fitness. It could be anything from right now, we do the virtual this or that videos, or me leading, or an exercise activity. Then I go into the lesson, and that is whatever we're working on. Right now, we're working on jump rope. So that would be the next, what I would do. And then I have a closing activity, some little fun game just to wrap up what we're doing and then explain what we're going to do next week.
Well, it would start with, we're CKH. We have Capturing Kids' Hearts. So it starts with, greeting them at the door with their specific handshake, whatever that may be. And then because of COVID, they are spread out all over the gym. So that's where they go. And then we have warm-up time, and that is still where they're pretty spaced out and they can pull their masks down. So warm-up changes every week because I get so bored. So we'll do static stretching one day, 1 week. This week we're in dynamic stretching. So we're doing all kinds of agility. Sorry, I've been yelling in practice. So that's, similar to what we do in track to warm up for that. Next week will be a 1-song warm up where we put one song on and they have specific exercises they do for the duration of the song. And then Mondays, it's teaching day. So whatever activity we're going to do for that week, it is, we teach it. We're on Schoology. So they'll have a study guide on there that they read over. And then it is group practice where they'll get together with a small group and go over individual skills. So like basketball this week would be layups, ball handling, form shooting, things like that. Next week's hockey. So that'll be, 2-on-2, pass the puck back and forth, whatever. And then they'll have some independent practice while I turn them loose and let them do practice games maybe. And then they'll do a tournament. And then, of course, at the end, we have our recap and we'll talk about what did we do good, what can we do better, things like that.
Do you see them every day? Or how many, you see your PE kids every day?
5 times a week.
That's great. Man, that'd be awesome. I would love that.
It's cool.
Why do you do it this way? Why do you use these components, or have you done it differently in the past and just kind of found this way? Or
yeah, this is what my mentor teacher taught me 20 years ago, and I like it. It has a nice flow to it. Consistency is key, and it has a very good rhythm to it as the way I do it. So
how much time do you have for a lesson?
I have 50 minutes.
Okay, so for those 4 components, do you have a certain time allotted, or is it different, kind of depending?
It depends on what we're doing. The entry activity is usually 3 to 5 minutes. That helps me talk to the kids, talk to the teacher, discuss anything they need to. They got to tell you they lost a tooth, they got to do something. So right now, my instant activity is 4 corners. For the little kids, that's animal movements and locomotor movements. And then the big kids is 4 corners with rock, paper, scissors. So they got to go to each corner. And then I have the fitness is anywhere from 8 to 7 to 10 minutes, depending on what it is. And then the lesson is usually 20 to 30 minutes. And then that closing, just depending on what we need. And with COVID, unfortunately, I have to add in a little bit at the end for water time because we don't have a water fountain. They have to go get their water to get a drink, which doesn't take as much time as the water fountain used to. So
that comes from being a coach and, you know, doing part whole with everything. It just makes more sense to break things down into the fundamentals and then slowly put it all together. I think it's more fun for them and gives them time to learn.
Gotcha. Building on that, let's just walk through your day. Like, let's just take one class period and say the time that the students walk in the gym to the time they leave. Can you paint a picture of what that typically looks like? Like we've got those 4 components and kind of the time that it takes for each of those. Are
Right.
kids coming in and sitting on a spot, or they go into a certain place, or just
so
walk
what
us
it is.
through that
Right.
that whole process of your day?
Okay, so let's do kindergarten. Kindergarten comes in and sits on the spot right away. One, that they need that consistency and that structure. Then as soon as I make sure they know where their spot is, they go right into 4 corners. So their entry is sit on the dot and then 4 corners. That because they're learning and transitioning. Then they'll do that 3 to 5 minutes. And then we'll go to our fitness activity, which right now is a virtual video. So those videos are anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes. And then I do a health talk while I'm in that transition time. And then we do the lesson of jump rope, which right now is intro to jump rope. So they are learning how to get their jump rope, how to make shapes with the jump rope, letters, numbers. And then at the very end of that lesson, I show them how to jump the rope, which is they start by making the letter U by holding it. And then they make a circle because we've just did all these shapes and everything. And then that takes us into doing a closing activity, which is something silly and fun because they've been jumping the whole time. So right now it's just going and touching all the shapes around the gym. So
Gotcha. So with 5th grade, they just come in. Do they they know what's going to happen every day, or right when they walk in, do you just say you're going here, and or how's that work?
Fourth grade. I only have 4th grade. I have to take
Okay.
4 years. 4th grade comes in and they automatically start rock, paper, scissors, 4 corners. That's where you and I play rock, paper, scissors. If you win, you say good game and head on to the next corner. You play again. If I'm waiting for you, I am doing jumping jacks, waiting for you to get to me. This lets kids intermingle, talk to each other, because they don't get a lot of that especially with all the restrictions that we have. So this lets them move safely in the space and exercise and get some wiggles out before we go. So that's again 3 to 5 minutes. Then we go into that fitness video right now and the health talk. And then we right now I'm doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle jump rope. So we did the intro for the jumping yesterday. I have them this afternoon. And they will do different tricks. I just do a basic jump with them, getting them warmed up. I've got lots of kids this year that I haven't had before, so trying to catch them up, but yet keep pushing my 4th graders on to jump more. Then again, it's something silly at the end. Mosquito tag's a big hit with them. They love that. If you don't know what that is, you put the noodle on the head and you run around and tag everybody. And there's somebody with medicine that tags to unfreeze them. So
does 4th grade, for example, do they know, do you to prepare them the week ahead on what's coming for the next time? Or do they always know to come in and go to that activity? Or does that activity change?
4 corners is always consistent. Now
Okay.
I might change it up. I meant to after Christmas, but with everything and I didn't. I usually
gotcha.
change the entry activity. I should say, before COVID, every 9 weeks.
Okay. Gotcha.
But with COVID, I keep that completely the same.
I gotcha. Okay.
Now, with
And so then you
kindergarten-
just transition from there
Right.
and say, here's what we're doing for the day. Here's what
Yeah,
we're going to be.
go to your spot and then we start our
I
workout
gotcha.
and go
Okay.
from there. Kindergarten, 2nd through 2nd grade are doing the animal movement locomotors. I change those cards out every about every quarter.
We have one-way entrances to the gym, because they don't want the kids running into each other, breathing on each other. So the way that they come in, they get greeted, they have their assigned space. Our gym's pretty big. And their spaces are about 10 feet apart, and they can put all of their belongings down there because we don't change. They don't have a locker room. They just go into the gym. And then I tell them, whatever time you get there, that is your time until the bell rings, and they can run around. They can go up and down the bleachers. They can visit. That's their time to kind of, I guess, decompress from being in the class.
Social emotional work.
Yes. So then when the tardy bell rings, they're in their spot. It takes me, 30 seconds, 45 seconds to take roll. And then after that, we'll gather them. If we're in the tournament, if it's, Wednesday, Thursday, like today, they'll go right into their basketball tournament. So we have 6 goals. And so we'll blow the whistle, tell them to get with their team captains. We rotate the team captains every week. And we have a specific goal for their team. And they can do their team warm up, usually 3 or 4 minutes, and then we start the games.
How many minutes are your periods?
45.
Okay. So from the time they walk in and take roll to the time that they're starting their skill or their tournament or whatever,
Mhm.
are you looking at what? Well, you go through your warm up, you're looking at maybe
Well,
10 minutes.
They'll have to do their dynamic warm up before they go to their goal. So, they're active within probably 5 minutes of being in the class, and then working on the specific skills probably within 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
And,
So-
we have some extra time since they don't change. So we'll go until 2 minutes before the bell rings.
And then do you have any kind of closure that you do with them as far as like any kind of discussion or something like that? Or
Most days we have time to call them together, and we'll give like updated standings on the tournament. This is where you are. Or like if we're doing our yoga unit, I'll say, what was the hardest pose for you? What did you enjoy about it? Something like that. Something easy.
so
We're supposed
most of
to-
your teaching comes maybe like during that skill development time, kind of like a coach would stop. Hey, let's all stop right here real quick and look at where these 3 people are standing. How can we make this better and more spread out to get the defense more spread out, blah, blah, blah. Is that kind of how? Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, let's just wrap this up can you give us, what is your top tip when organizing the structure of your classroom? If you were to give 1 or 2 tips to PE teachers across the state, what are those tips for organizing your structure?
Keep it simple. Keep it consistent, and it will flow. And then your transitions will come. Transitions are hard for a lot of people. I have a fun game called IC that helps those transitions that you're struggling with. And that's usually what people, especially into the field, have trouble with. My student teachers, so they learn IC real quick.
Okay, great. So what I heard you say was consistency. You got to be consistent with
Yes.
everything you do, basically.
Yes.
All right, Jamie, thank you so much for joining us this month, and we look forward to having you back.
Sure. It's been great. Thanks.
I think student ownership and leadership is good. It's really nice when I'll say, there's 6 team captains because there's 6 teams in basketball. All right, captains, get your teams together. So really, you're putting a lot of the responsibility on those 6 girls to get their people organized and get going. So it's not really just me. And I think the kids enjoy that, and they respond to that better if it's done in the right way.
And that's consistently throughout the year, right? As far as they understand how the structure is going to flow, how things are going to work in your classroom. And so by the time that you get into now January, the consistency starts showing up, and they can start kind of doing what you're saying and taking some ownership. Hey, thank you so much. And I look forward to talking to you next week or next month